Hi everyone, it's Phil Festa from the Excel Education Pre-Physician Assistant Clerkship Program. Welcome. This is a little segment we do called Two Burning Questions. We provide the premise of two burning questions that you may have about PA school, applying to PA school, interviewing, etc. And you give us the questions you have in particular in mind, and I will try the best I can to answer that for you. So we did a seminar last night at Rutgers University Allied Health Professions Club. And these are some questions that the students at this seminar had for me. So I'll give you the premise question first. What is the most important thing you want to know about applying to, interviewing for, and getting accepted to PA school? So this student writes, what major is the best to have to apply to PA school? It's interesting that you say the best to have because there is no real best major. It's really about your grades in general in terms of academics goes, and also the fact that you have the prerequisites. I've had psychology majors, biology majors, chemistry majors, neurobiology majors, and it doesn't matter what major you are, as long as you have all the prerequisites. Exercise science, another major that's really becoming popular. So it doesn't matter, but as long as you have the prerequisites and done really well in the prerequisites, that's really what counts. Is it too late to start shadowing? Because I'm a senior now, and I just decided to go to PA school, and therefore I don't have much experience. Also, is it okay to take a gap year in order to get my experience hours in? Well, yes. It is not a problem to take a gap year, especially if it's because you had one major and one course in mind, or one course of action, and then you decided late to change the PA profession, especially if you really just started to learn about it and do research and discover that's something you really want to do. So as long as you're passionate about it, you're not going to have a problem. And the fact that you take the gap year, as long as that is not because you had poor grades or did poorly in school, will not affect you negatively. Okay? So that gap year gives you time to take prerequisites that you may need. You have to ace them though. This is the important thing. That gap year has to be extremely productive. You should get your PA shadow experience, you should get your direct patient contact experience, volunteer experience, and make sure that you ace all your courses. And make sure that when you take the extra courses, you take really hard science courses. Because PA schools want to know that you can handle the load. How important is the amount of patient care hours in terms of acceptance rate and acceptance to PA school? Okay, patient care hours or patient experience, direct patient contact experience, is probably, of all the experiences, the most important one. It's also one that requires the most hours in most PA schools. So most PA schools, maybe like 92% of PA schools or so, require at least 200 hours of direct patient contact and probably about 25 to 30 hours of PA shadowing. Okay, so it's really important to get those patient contact hours in, and the quality of those contacts or that experience is what's really important. The more responsibility you have for the patient during that time period of patient care experience or the direct patient contact experience, the more heavily valued that experience is to PA schools. How does one get shadow experience? As it seems, hospitals never say yes. Yep, hospitals never say yes, you're right. A lot of times it's because they're concerned about four major factors. One, having an untrained, unknown person on the premise with patients is very concerning to facilities. They're still liable for that shadow. Two, liability in general. If something happens to you as a student on the premise and you get hurt, they have that responsibility, or if you hurt someone inadvertently. Three, the HIPAA laws, knowledge of the Privacy Act, and not spreading patients' information inadvertently or even carelessly, like Facebook or other social media, or even word of mouth from one person to another. This is a very concerning thing. A lot of lawsuits come out due to HIPAA. And if you're an untrained person, you understand HIPAA, this could be a liability for the facility. And four is universal precautions knowledge. In other words, understanding universal precautions and not spreading disease either between patients or between patients and staff inadvertently, or bringing disease or illness outside of the facility because you're not trained in universal precautions. So these are the four main reasons why hospitals generally don't want to have a shadow or an unknown, untrained person on the premises. One of the things Excel does is that we give you, before you're even placed in one of our facilities or centers, is that we give you HIPAA training online, we give you universal precautions training, and we also do a background check on you. And as well as that, we ensure that you do have, in fact, your own health insurance. And the relationships that we've built between ourselves and these 21 health care centers, and always growing, that we are affiliated with, they know that we will provide them with that information before you get on the premise. That's why we can establish these relationships and get you the on-site direct patient contact. So that's it for today. If you listen carefully and this was your question or liked your question, this was meant for you. And if you have any other questions for me, please feel free to email me at info@exceleducation.com. That's exceleducation.com. Excel is 2 L's. See you next time for another edition of 2 Burning Questions. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. And please send us your feedback. You can email us your feedback at letusknow@exceleducation.com. And remember, don't just chase the dream, capture it. This is Phil Festa for Excel Education.